My brothers and my sisters, as stated in the announcements this past weekend, we'd like to thank all of you who gave advanced gifts to the Arise and Build campaign, pledges to the Arise and Build campaign. Those who 2 weeks ago made pledges on Commitment Weekend, we thank you. And for those of you still discerning a pledge and taking your time to do that deliberately and purposefully, we thank you. All of those are expressions of love for our parish. All of those are taking the long view of love. And it's the long view of love that enters into our scripture this past weekend. So let's begin with the prophet Jeremiah, where Jeremiah recounts that the Lord said to him, "I knew you before you were in the womb. I dedicated you before you were born." In other words, the Lord said to Jeremiah, "I saw your life and I loved you through your life before you even knew your life." That's pretty remarkable. Similarly, when God came down to earth in Jesus Christ, the greatest act of love in the world, in the long view, was that he gave us his Son, his body and blood, so that we could live, that he would journey with us through this life in spirit, that we would be able to walk the Paschal mystery, which is his mystery. It's in that view that we need to understand then how we're supposed to embody love. So in that second reading, it's St. Paul who says to us, love is patient, kind, not boastful, generous, not self-interested. That's what love is. But that's a long view of living out love. But oftentimes we live in the short view. We live in the soundbite. We live in the immediate feeling, and we're worried about what's the next feeling. Versus the long view, which is the Lord's view. So what I need to ask myself in my relationships is this. Am I going to take the long view, which is patience and kindness, and not being boastful and not being conceited or arrogant? Or am I going to take the short view, which turns me, as St. Paul also says, into a clashing cymbal? Do I want my relationships to be of the long view, which means there's times when I'm not going to be patient or kind, where I am going to be boastful or jealous. There's times in my marriage, in my relationship with my parents, in my relationship with my friends, where I'm all that stuff that makes me a clashing cymbal. But I need to remind myself that I'm looking at the long view of love because I'm trying to embody the Lord's view of love. And that's a long view. And so, my sisters, let's look at our meaningful relationships and how we struggle with meaningful relationships. And let's try to transcend those immediate feelings, whether they're really feelings that are monumentous or feelings that are a little bit low, and let's keep our eye focused on the long view. Let's keep our eyes focused on living like the Lord. Have a great week.